Hello, everyone, and welcome to another live watch along show on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzie, and I'm your host for this evening. We are set to witness a big encounter, I would say, between two very established teams in Juventus and Man City. So the game is set to be underway. But before we dive into the action, let's have a look at the lineups and see who is starting today. So for Juventus, you've got Di Gregorio in goal, and then you've got Kalulu on the right hand side of a back three. You've got Savano, sorry, and you've got Lloyd Kelly, the former Bournemouth and he played for Newcastle, I think he did, didn't he? Yeah, Newcastle defender. And then in terms of your midfield four, you've got Kostic on the left hand side, very attack-minded left-footed player there. Costa on the right, McKennie and Locatelli in the double pivot. And then you've got Gonzalez and Koopmeiners and Vlahovic leading the line. So no, Yildiz, who I was expecting to see in this game, very, very exciting player. And for Man City, you've got Edison in goal, and you've got Ait Nouri, new signing, starting at left back. You've got Mateus Nunes playing as a right back, which is slightly unorthodox, but I guess they had to fit him somewhere. And then you've got Ruben Diaz and Akanji completing the back line. You've got the return of Rodri, the player who, got injured last season, and pretty much, unfortunately, due to that unfortunate injury, derailed Man City season altogether. But he makes his return and he's back in the lineup. You've got Doku on the left, Savio, who I was quite impressed with last season. He starts on the right hand side, and you've got new signing Reinders alongside Bernardo Silva, and Omar Mamouche leads the line up top. So very, very strong lineup from Man City there. Now, in terms of the bench, we'll see a lot of familiar names, and hopefully we'll get to see them at some point in the game. You've got Bremer, Gatti, Conceição's had a decent tournament so far. Kenan Yildiz, this is the player that I was referring to earlier on, very talented Turkish player. Milik, you've got Adzic, Kefren Turam. I'm sure a lot of us Liverpool fans will remember him. We were linked to him a couple of years ago. Colomwani, who's not had such a impactful career since the World Cup all those years ago, but still a very talented player. And then we've got Pinsoglio as well, and then you've got Rugani, Douglas Luiz, who's been linked to a move return to the Premier League. I think Crystal Palace are one of the names that's linked with him. You got Cambiaso, you got Defaro, and you've got Roy, and then you got Garfani. And the manager is Igor Tudor, if you remember him, former Juventus centre back. Now, in terms of Man City, you've got John Stones, Nathan Ake, Erling Haaland, Bettinelli, the new signing of the summer from Chelsea, Nico Gonzalez, Stefan Ortega, Ilkay Gundogan, Victor Reis, Carvadio, Ryan Cherky. So hopefully we'll get to see him today as well. Kusanov, Phil Foden, Oscar Bob. He makes his return after he also impacted a very long-term injury early last season, and he's actually one of my shouts for being a breakthrough talent, and I think he could be that player this season. In fact, so definitely a player to look out for. And Nico O'Reilly, who made a few cameos the last part of last season, so I expect to see him getting some game time during the course of next season. So that's the two lineups there. In terms of the prediction of the game, it's going to be tight. I do expect to see Man City win, but I think Juventus will definitely show a great account of themselves. So yeah, so let's get back into the action. Currently, Aitner is on the ball. Lovely cross. Header down for Bernardo Silva. Saved by the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper, you know, asked to be in action pretty much in the opening few minutes, so no time wasted there. You go choose that certainly looks different. I don't even recognize it, but I remember the name. I remember the player from all those years ago. Really talented defender. Excuse me. Vlahovic, good chest control there. Was he offside? I think he may have been offside there. Vlahovic is going to be an interesting player to watch because he was very highly regarded about 2, 3 years ago. It wasn't even that long ago. But since he's moved over to Juventus, I don't think he's hit the heights that were expected. At Fiorentina, he was lethal in front of goal. But I think he's, suffered a few injuries, and that's definitely hampered his progression in the team. But still a very talented player. He's almost linked with a Premier League move every summer or every window, to be fair. Arsenal and Chelsea being the two prominent names that are linked with the player. So let's see, what the future holds. We'll probably see him in the Premier League at some point, but I'm not sure which club that will be because it looks like the likes of Arsenal and Chelsea have other targets in mind. But I'll be very interested to see how he performs today, just to see, if he still has that ability or still has that potential. Probably potential is the wrong word now because I do feel like he's probably in his mid-20s now, so he's gone past that stage. So he needs to fulfill his potential now more than anything else. Bernardo Silva on the ball. Interesting kit here for Man City wearing black shorts. They don't normally wear black shorts, so yeah, different to what we're used to. It's normally white shorts, but this is their new kit. Oof, good interception there. Doku tries to get hold of the ball, but it gets nudged away. McKinney to Coop Miners. Kostic, very talented player. Kostic. He used to play for Frankfurt. That's the player. That's the club they signed him from. Really good player. Kind of your throwback left winger because you don't really get wingers of sort of his style where he's literally attacking that byline and he's whipping in crosses. That's his kind of style of play. So not quite what we're used to nowadays, where you've got more inside forwards, or even if you're left footed and you're playing the left wing, you do seem to invert more than you used to back in the day. So different style of play nowadays. Of course, teams no longer play 4-4-2, or very little teams play that formation. So you don't really need orthodox wingers on your flanks. But nowadays, he's a player has great delivery, good at set pieces, can shoot from distance as well. So he's definitely going to be a danger man um, for Man City to look out for. Doku, good half turn there. Tries to find out Nuri. Very intrigued to see how Nuri adapts to his new club. I always felt like he was going to go to Man City, even from like 2, 3 years ago. I feel like I've mentioned it on my previous shows as well. Whenever I've done Premier League reviews, he just looks like a Man City player. The way he plays, I feel like it was only a matter of time. If they really wanted to go for a proper left back slash wing back, I think that was the profile that they would have gone for, and that has been the case this summer. He's a player very good when he plays in the inside. Doku with a shot. Good goal there. Good finish there from Doku. Touch inside and low shot into the bottom corner. Good finish there from the Belgian. Just got a comment here in the chat. Big up to Graham. He says, so happy for Auckland City getting a draw against Boca Juniors. That's a huge result, to be fair. I just checked it now. 1-1 um, was the scoreline. Fantastic result. Yeah. That's a historic win because Boca Juniors, it's a well-renowned club. So to get a result like that, yeah, that's a definitely a special moment for Auckland City. So yeah, great result for the side there. Ooh, low cross there. Vlahovic with the first time shot on his weaker foot, but didn't guide it at all. Dragged it wide by a mile. Wasn't even close to the goal. Maybe could have controlled it if he didn't feel confident because he did have a bit of space around him, but I'll be on his right foot. Didn't look like he was, in a favorable position there. But great ability, great cross there from Costa on that right hand side. Very attack-minded player there. So, I know he will definitely need to make sure. Hold on. Juventus are through, and they've scored as well. Equalizer there through Coop Miners. Great response there from the Italian side. Pep Guardiola is not impressed one bit. I think it was Edison that gave the ball away. Let's have a look at the replay. Yeah, that's a poor pass from Edison. Calm and composed finish there from Coop Miners. Didn't rush it at all. Pretty much placed it just underneath the keeper. Great finish there from the Dutchman. Graham with another comment says Auckland City are not even the biggest team in Auckland. The other team play in the Australian League. Let's have a quick look. Teach me a few things about Auckland City, which I do appreciate. It's always good to know about different teams and different leagues all over the world. So you're correct there. It's Australian. It's Auckland FC, isn't it? That's in the Australian League. Auckland City FC, yeah. Auckland FC. They play in the Australian-based A-League team. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I'll definitely keep an eye on that on Auckland City because they have a player from Pakistan. So he's a young player coming through. I think his name's Haris Zain or Haris Ali. Let me make sure I don't get his name wrong. Haris Ali Zeb, that's his name. So he's someone that's been sort of regarded as a player that could really, have an impact at Auckland City and can of course play for the national team as well. So that's a player I'm going to keep an eye on just to see how his career progresses. Arsene Wenger and Djokovic in attendance in the crowd right there. Slightly overplayed there by Kalulu. Trying to find Costa. The Costa's making some great runs on that right hand side. Hook's low, big up yourself. He said, blimey, that's a quick equalizer. Yeah, they didn't waste any time. But to be fair, it was a mistake from Man City rather than, a great piece of play. It was more or less Edison not focused, misplacing the pass and gifting it to Koopmeiners, who, to be fair, did really well. Couple of touches and slotted it underneath the keeper to make it 1-1. So yeah, good finish there from the Dutchman. But yeah, it was a gift more than something that was produced from hard work or anything of that nature. Just got another comment here from Uncle Ross TV. Says, "How you doing? Big up you, bro. Big up yourself, bro. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for tuning in. Let's have a look at it because I know a lot of the teams have qualified and progressed into the next round. So it'll be interesting to see, what kind of teams are going through. Oh, Mamouche almost getting on the end of that one. Lloyd Kelly, I can't believe Lloyd Kelly plays for Juventus. It's such a random transfer that when that happened because he was at Newcastle but barely got any game time, and then all of a sudden he's got to move to Juventus. So still wearing black and white, but didn't think he'd be wearing the black and white of Juventus. So yeah, his agent, I'm sure got a good on sign on fee or commission because that's probably one of the deals that you know you don't hear too often. Players that aren't that much of a high profile getting a big move over to Juventus. But stylistically, he's an interesting profile. He's a player we were actually linked to. I'm not sure if everyone remembers a few years ago, especially when he was. I think it was at Bournemouth, but he was no, he was at another club before he joined Bournemouth. Let me remind myself. He was in the Championship, and then Bournemouth, I believe, ended up signing him. So he was at Bristol City. So we were looking at him around that time, and then he moved over to Bournemouth, and I think we still had interest, in the player, but I think maybe the time had gone by, and then we really weren't interested in him at all. And he moved over to Newcastle, went on loan to Juventus, but he's permanently there now. So great move for him. Signed for 17.5 million euros. So clearly, speak highly of him for him to get that loan move converted into a permanent deal. Let's have a look. Let me share the screen with you guys also. We can have a look together and see what fixtures will be taking place in the round of 16. Let's make the screen a little bit bigger for you guys. Hopefully that is visible for everyone. Let me make it zoom in a little bit more. There you go. So round of 16, you've got Palmeiras versus Botafogo. Botafogo, hopefully I pronounced that correctly. That is being played this Saturday. And then we've got Benfica versus Chelsea. So I will hope to do a watch along for that, but don't quote me on that because I need to double check my plans for the weekend. And then you've got PSG versus Inter Miami at 5 p.m. on Sunday. Then you've got Flamengo versus Bayern Munich. Flamengo, of course, beating Chelsea 3-1. So team that is definitely, a strong opposition. Then you've got Inter versus Fluminense, so that should be an interesting game on Monday. And then you've got two more games that will be confirmed once I think these fixtures are concluded today. We've also got a couple more fixtures. We've got Al Hilal versus Pachuca played at 2 in the morning UK time. And at the same time slot, you've also got Red Bull Salzburg versus Real Madrid. So we'll get confirmation once this game is concluded. The other game in this group is Al Ain versus uh, Wydad AC. So they're currently winning up. They're currently winning right now, 1-0 um, at the moment. So let's see how that game ends. And yeah, we'll have the complete round of 16. Some good teams here, so definitely one to look out for. Um, Dortmund versus Monterrey, so that's another one that'll be played on Wednesday, 2nd of July at 2 a.m. So probably won't be doing a watch along for that, but definitely will be intrigued to see, who is victorious and who progresses into the quarterfinals. Good defending there from makeshift right back in Mateus Nunes. Is right back in the area that Man City needs to strengthen because normally you'd have had uh, Rico Lewis there. Obviously, Carl Walker left in January, so maybe that's an area they need to strengthen. But I'm not sure who this. I know they've been strongly linked with Livramento, who is a fantastic fullback, but I doubt Newcastle will sell him anytime soon. And of course, with the strong rumors of Isak, being targeted by Liverpool, if that was the sale that was to be made, then you wouldn't expect more sales. It would be just one big sale, and then you just expect the club to try and keep hold of their best players. Because right now, I think they don't have too much expenditure available. I think they are able to spend 160 million in terms of the whole squad. If they were to sell Isak, then it increases their budget or their allowance to spend, and of course will enable them to sign some big players. Because obviously they're in the Champions League next season, so they will need to try and sign a good few players to add to the squad. 160 million doesn't sound like a crazy amount, does it? It's of course Newcastle won't be going for big bids for certain players, but they'll probably need to sign a few more in order to add quality in their squad. So it'll be very interesting to see, what happens in regards to Newcastle and if Isak, does end up moving clubs this summer. When I say moving clubs, it looks like there's only one destination, and that is Liverpool, because we're not really hearing any other noise from anyone else. So let's see. It's going to be a very interesting few weeks. I don't think we'll hear anything official until Liverpool sell one or two players. So if Darwin Núñez is moved to Napoli, which seems to be the strong rumor right now, if that materializes in the next few days or week or however long that's going to be, then I think we'll hear a bit more movement in regards to our pursuit for Isak. Maybe an approach or a bid will come in due course. So let's see, what happens. I really hope that is a sign that we make, because that will be a game changer. It will be the one that will definitely um, present a fear factor to our opponents in England, but also across Europe. So yeah, fingers crossed. We can make that happen. Just got a comment here from Spirit of LFC fans. He says, "Hi Ozzy and chat. How are you? Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Big up yourself. Thank you for your comment there." There's a player on the ground. Not too sure who it is. I think the ball may have booted his face there, which it hurts. It's a sore one, to say the least. But yeah, some good fixtures coming up. So definitely going to try and do some more watch-alongs for the Club World Cup, especially as the tournament goes on. The games should intensify in terms of the way it's played, because I feel like it's still got preseason vibe to it. That's just my opinion there. But hopefully, when you've got stronger teams and teams that are a bit more in the mix and a bit more accustomed to the rhythm of the tournament, then you're going to see highly competitive games played at full speed or something to that nature. So hopefully, we'll get that in the coming days. Um, I think if I'm available on Saturday, then I will certainly do Benfica versus Chelsea, and then on the Sunday, I might possibly do Flamengo versus Bayern. But don't quote me on it. I will confirm possibly tomorrow. So if I do plan on doing the live watch alongs this weekend, I will upload the streams before Saturday and Sunday. And yeah, so the best thing to do is hit that notification bell. So whenever I plan on doing a show, you'll get a pop-up message to say that Football Talk podcasts are set to go live at this time and date. So yeah, that would be the best thing to do to keep intact with all the upcoming shows. And speaking of upcoming shows, I will be doing a show after this game tonight at 11 p.m. Where we'll be doing a local transfer talk show. So a lot of you know rumors circulating today. So I thought it's only right that we dive into it today and speak about it in more detail. So make sure to tune in at 11 p.m. tonight. I'll set up the stream possibly at halftime so everyone can hit notification. Oh my god, what's just happened there? Kalulu has just scored a very, very bizarre on goal. Goalkeeper's gone over to console him, but that was bizarre. I'm not sure what happened there, if it was a brain freeze or whatnot. That was a bizarre goal. Let's have a look. Mateus Nunes with the low cross. No one's around him. I don't know what happened there. I really can't, explain it. It was a poor piece of control, 100%. But maybe he was trying to make a clearance, to a corner kick. But that was bizarre. So now Man City are winning, which is crazy. Because that came out of nothing, really. Yeah, talk about a jammy goal, but that's how it goes sometimes. Man City haven't stopped there. Oh, Reinders, the shot there that was blocked by Kalulu, I think. Right, piece of speed. Look at this. Look at this run here from Nico Gonzalez. Just got a comment here from Ozin Kabak. He says, big up Ozzy lad. Big up yourself, Ozin Kabak. Thank you for your comment. Thank you for tuning in. You tuned in just at the time when we've had a bizarre on goal that's been scored on the pitch. So yeah, crazy moment there from Juventus. I want to forget for Kalulu. Akanji on the ball. Got a comment here from Ozan Kamat. Says thoughts on Lucha Diaz possibly on his way out. I read the rumor earlier on today. Um, we'll do a show later on today, Transfer Talk at 11 p.m. But just to give you my sort of brief take on it, no huge surprise. I think us fans have always half expected that he's going to leave because he's never really been presented with a new contract, and I don't think there was any indication that the club were going to give him new terms or anything to that nature. So no huge surprise, of course. You know, Luis Diaz and his camp have expressed themselves today, or always come out today, that they've been disappointed with Liverpool's approach. So they want to, of course, try and move on, which I kind of understand. Of course, there's a couple of stumbling blocks. So he's got interest from Saudi, and Saudi are, of course, willing to spend big money. We're talking 70, 80 million in that kind of region. But I'm not sure if the player is completely, sold on that project. The dream move for him and for his dad, he's been twerking about it for a few years now, is a move to Barcelona. But Barcelona look like they could be signing Nico Williams. It's not official yet, but I think they're pretty much on hot pursuit right now. So if that's going to happen, then yeah, there's no way that Barcelona would sign Nico Williams and Diaz because they're very like for like in terms of profile. So it's going to be interesting. I also read that the club may keep Diaz and are even willing to have him play the 2 years, remaining duration of his contract, which I don't think makes sense, to be fair. If he's in a positive mind and he's, willing to spend one more year and then, we make a promise that, next season, we'll grant you a move if we get a super offer, then that's a different discussion. I think, we can work with that. But if he's, not happy about playing for Liverpool right now because of those contract terms or negotiations, then we might have to part ways as well. I say as well because the rumor is also Konate wanting to leave, which I'll speak about in more detail later on tonight in the Liverpool Transfer Talk Show. So yeah, it's a bit of a negative. I say a couple of pieces of rumors today, but the Diaz one, no huge surprise. It's just that I would probably like to see him stay for another season because I think he's such an effective player. And he shows versatility last season where he can play on the left wing and up top. So I feel like that's something we're going to need going forward. Um, if he's definitely not sold on the Saudi project, then I think he will stay for at least another season. But if he's content with moving over there, then I think he will be sold. So I think it'll be a shame to see Diaz leave because I feel like he's going to be very hard to replace. You can find talented left wingers here and there, but for him to really progress last season, playing as a striker, but also playing left wing and showing more end product than he has done in previous season, it would be a shame for him to leave now where he's on the up, in my opinion, in terms of playing in a local shirt. For Colombia, he's prime Neymar when he plays for them. He always turns up for them. But for Liverpool, he's definitely found his stride, and I feel like this season, he could be so impactful in our team. But we'll see what happens. The camp, of course, are not happy in terms of the current terms, and no indication that they will get new terms either. So it's going to be interesting, but I think it will have to be on Liverpool's terms. If Liverpool are, you know, happy to keep him on, then so be it. But it might be where the player gets more frustrated as time goes and says, "Look, I'd rather leave now. I'd rather move over to Saudi." So let's see what happens. He's also recently just got married as well. So one of the things that people have mentioned in the past is that if you are not married, you can't legally live with your partner because he's got a wife now, so you can do that. So maybe that was you know fast tracked in order to facilitate that move. Not saying that was the case, but you just never know, isn't it? So let's see. I personally would love Diaz to stay. If I was to make a prediction, I think 60% he goes and 40% he stays. That's the mind frame that I have right now. But we'll see. Only time will tell. Players currently having a drink break right now. So yeah. So yeah, we'll talk a lot of different rumors today. We'll refer to the Diaz rumor that I brought earlier on, the Kanate one, Darwin Nunes. We've also been linked with Osimhen and a few other strikers, Gyökeres as well. That rumor resurfaced again. So let's see what happens in terms of these recent rumors and if there's any sort of weight on those stories. We'll speak about that a lot more in detail later this evening. Huxlaw says Diaz is a good character. Best of luck to him. Yeah, he's a very positive character in terms of how he is off the pitch personality wise, but on the pitch, he's a hard worker. He really puts in a shift for his team. I think it'd be such a shame for him to leave. And we have been linked to a few names because I feel like the left wing market is decent. You've got some good options out there, but none of them sort of guarantee success unless you're going for, in my opinion, my favorite choice would be Bacola. That's the guy I would love for us to sign. Um, and the funny thing is, that a lot of people aren't even convinced with him, but he's had like 30 GA last season. So for me, he would be a fantastic signing for the club. Whether it's a reality or could be made into reality remains to be seen. It's not a crazy sort of rumor because he hasn't agreed a new contract with the club. That's something they've been having an ongoing sort of battle or ongoing discussion at the minute. So if they don't come to terms, then maybe Liverpool can swoop in and try and get him over the line. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, if he does leave, I do wish him the best because I don't think, he may have been very frustrated behind the scenes in terms of not getting getting a new contract or not getting improved terms in his current deal or anything to that nature. And some players, they really showed that in their performance. They don't want to work hard. They've got an attitude. They're sulking. He's never showed that once. So we hear it during off-season time that he wants a new contract and all that sort of stuff. But during the course of the season, he's fully focused in terms of his objectives, his goals, and he's a team player. So honestly, it would be a big loss for me if he does decide to leave. I know some fans are like, you know what? I don't even care if he goes. He's easily replaceable. I don't agree with that notion. To be fair, it's more than just technical ability on the ball or on the pitch. It's more so what they bring from a personality point of view, what they bring to the squad. Because he's definitely a real liked character within the Liverpool squad. So yeah, if he does leave, I do wish him the best as well. But I'm slightly hoping he stays. That would be my sort of wish that he remains at the club for at least another season. I think that would be the right call. Gives us more strength and depth in the squad. So I think that would make the most sense. Back to the action. Nuri with the cross. Slightly overhit there towards Savino. Back to Mateus Nunes. Reinders. Doku. Doku and Nuri providing good balance on that left hand side. You're not seeing Nuri, down that byline. He's playing more inside. And I think that's why I always felt like Ainuri is a tailor-made left back for Man City because they like their fullbacks to invert, especially from the left side. Normally, when they've had Carl Walker on that right-hand side, he's always been the one that bombs forward or touches that byline. In the past, we've had Cancelo, who's inverted, and Gvardio as well, who's pretty much got a few goals to his name last season. But now they've got a more natural fit for that role in Ainuri. So yeah, I think it's a good signing for the club. Oh, good touch there from Marmoush, but unable to continue with the ball. Just got a comment here from AR. It says, Hi, Ozzy and chat. Assalamu alaikum. How are you? Wa alaikum salam, AR. I hope you're doing well. I'm good, thank you. He also said, like, comment, share, and subscribe. You're never welcome on. Be up yourself. Thank you for your support there. Ozan come back with the comment says, Do you rate Anthony Gordon, Ozzy? He's a decent player, but for me, I don't think he's at the level, the caliber that I think Liverpool should be going for. Because if he comes in, number one, he's going to cost an arm and a leg. He's going to cost a huge transfer fee. And if Liverpool are doing business with Newcastle, I want it to be for Isak rather than Gordon. I think he'd cost around 80 million. I think that's the kind of asking price that they'll present. And for me, that is way too inflated for Anthony Gordon. And okay, let's just say he does end up signing for the club. He's not an upgrade to Diaz, in my opinion, and he's not an upgrade on Gakpo. So for me, he's going to sit on the bench. So why spend all that money on a player that's going to be a player that's going to be rotated or more so an impact sub off the bench? So for me, that's not the signing that I want. He's a decent player. I still question his sort of end product. I don't think he's as consistent or precise in his passing. Um, Last year, he wasn't even the best winger in Newcastle. You had the likes of Harvey Barnes. I know he wasn't much of a starter, but whenever he played, he scored a number of goals. He had a better ratio, I guess, in terms of his final tally. But the one player that really stood out for me from Newcastle's point of view was Jacob Murphy. He was a very consistent performer for Newcastle. I think he's probably the best winger in that squad last season. So didn't have the best of seasons. So for me, if Diaz was to go and Gordon was the replacement, I personally would find that a very underwhelming signing. I know a lot of Liverpool fans would like to see us sign Anthony Gordon because, of course, he's a Scouser and he's a boyhood red. But for me, that's not enough. I want us to upgrade when players leave the club. I don't think it's an upgrade to Luis Diaz. So, yeah, that's just my thoughts on Anthony Gordon. Back to the game. Akanji's on the ball right now. Man City are applying the pressure. Pretty much every player is in the attacking half. As I say, that some of them have dropped back now, back to their normal position. Doku attacking that left channel. Up against Kalulu. He's probably still thinking about the mistake that he made earlier on, so he needs to shake that off and just forget about it. Just move on and focus on the task ahead and making sure he helps Juventus, you know, play better or at least, reduces any chances being created. Good pass there. Runners to Savino. Lovely pass with outside of the Nuri with the shot. Good save there from the keeper. Wasn't cleanly hit by Nuri, but had enough power and accuracy to really make sure the keeper stood up and carried the ball away. Looks like it's heavy hailstone right now. Bernardo Silva the shot. Blocked there for a corner kick. Di Gregorio with a fantastic save. Yeah, to be fair, I say fantastic. It wasn't a difficult one, but definitely had to be parried away. But he parried away from danger. Sometimes goalkeepers they'll make a save, but it deflects and it's back into the 6 yard box. And from there onwards, you end up just scoring a tapping. So decent save there from the keeper. I think this weather condition was unexpected because I see a lot of fans wearing t-shirts and they're getting swamped with hailstones right now. Man City bringing the English weather to America, it seems. It's got a couple of comments here from on the comeback. It says it appears Darwin is a certainty to leave. By the way, based on all the hints he's shown publicly, yeah, that's how it comes across. I think as well. I saw something today with Milos Kerkez, of course, joining officially yesterday. There was in the chain. I think there was his shirt number, and then he actually officially signed it. Some were indicating that that's his sort of farewell sort of thing. I don't know if it is, but I do feel like he is set to leave the club. And I think Napoli is the destination. I think it's a great fit in terms of the player and his new club. My only sort of issue with the move is the fee. I think it's quite low. They're paying roughly 38 plus 4 million in add-on, so altogether 42 million. It's low, if I'm being honest. If you offer a it's at least 50 for Darwin Nunes, but you know, beggars can't be choosers, I guess, in this situation because in terms of European teams showing interest in Darwin Nunes, they wouldn't want to pay anything higher, or we wouldn't get a crazy amount like we would have probably done in Saudi. Saudi would have placed a 70 million bid, which we in fact rejected in January. So yeah, it's a shame that we weren't able to maximize, the sale of Darwin Nunes with a move to Saudi. But looks like the Saudi project isn't appealing to a lot of players. Diaz and Nunes were pretty much destined to go to the Saudi because they've had interest from the Saudi Pro League for a number of months now. But maybe they just want to have one more final crack at a team in Europe and then maybe make that move to Saudi in the future. But of course, that doesn't put Liverpool in a great situation because now we have to sell them at a European rate rather than a Saudi rate. So looks like, yeah, we'll have to accept um, that fate. And of course, we'll have to accept a loss financially because we spent 65 plus add-ons for Darwin Núñez that would have accumulated to about 85 million pounds. You know, just thinking about that's a crazy amount of money we spent on Darwin Núñez. And you know, he showed promise in that season, scored a lot of goals, but yeah, looking back, wasn't the right call in the end. But hey, you know, we've normally, we normally make the right decisions in the market. That's probably one that, it wasn't very calculated, or it was, according to rumors, a top signing and had nothing to do with Edwards, who of course had left the club at the time. So yeah, let's see what happens. But I do agree. I do think Darwin is set to leave, and we'll probably hear something official. I think end of this week or early next week, in my opinion. So expect to hear some official news, whether it's from the club or from your Fabrizio Romanos or your David Ornsteins. We'll hear something very very soon, in my opinion. Ozan come out with the second comment says so. That's Chiesa, Darwin, and Lucho leaving. Surely we can sign a top tier striker. Certainly, I think even without the sale of these players, I think we have the finances, number one. But I think more so with Darwin Núñez, we need certain players to leave in order to fill the gaps in that sense. So if Núñez leaves, then we can target that top tier striker. Um, if Chiesa leaves, I don't think we'll sign a like for like replacement. It'll be more so, other players in the squad will get more of an opportunity. Um, Maybe Verts, I guess, ends up being his replacement on paper. But the Diaz one was going to be interesting because, if Diaz and Chiesa go, that's two options that you've basically, you know, eliminated from your attack. And Javier, it looks like he's a player that could be leaving. He would have definitely provided cover for that right wing. So we don't have a lot of cover. If these three players leave, we would only have Jota, we would have Gakpo, Salah. But I'll probably put in that mix 'cause I do see him playing a lot on the left-hand side. But I would definitely say then it wouldn't just be a top striker. I think we need to sign a forward as well that can be a versatile forward, a forward that can play in all three positions on the left or on the right and through the middle as well. Um, it doesn't have to be like an accomplished profile or a player that's going to, be a big name as such, but definitely a player that's on the up or, someone with huge potential that can definitely bide their time, develop in their sort of speed and not feel rushed to have an impact in the squad, as soon as they step into the club. So, a name that's been linked is Malik Fofana. He's a player that would make sense because predominantly plays as a left winger, but can cover and play on the right wing, can also play as a striker. So he would be an interesting profile. And with Lyon's current issues right now, they've just been relegated to League Two. So they're going to definitely have some sort of fire sale where they'll need to, create or shall I say, get the funds to maintain the operations at the club because right now it's a bit unclear what's happening with Lyon because they're in debt of around 500 million euros. So, of course, they're going to have to pay as much as possible to balance the books. Uh, Maybe they'll get investment elsewhere, but FSG were linked with a takeover a few months back, so maybe that's something in line. Savinho, great cross there, slightly overplayed, unfortunately. Locatelli tries to thread it to Vlahovic. Oh, good shot there from Mamouche. About 25 yards. Keeper made the save. I think it was going wide, to be fair. Let's have a look at the replay. Good turn. Was it going in? Oh, I think it was going to hit the post. I don't think it was going to go into the bottom corner, but Great save from the keeper. He would have been sure at that moment. So good save in the end. We've got probably half a minute remaining of stoppage time. So this could be the final chance for Man City to extend their lead. Mamo should have crossed. That is an absolutely awful penalty. But Locatelli matched it with an awful clearance as well. So another corner kick for Man City. Mamo should have crossed. Can you the header cleared away by Locatelli? And that is half time. Juventus 1, Man City 2. So what we'll do now, we'll take a short break, and once we return, we can watch the second half, but we can also, continue with our fan chat here and speak about Liverpool or speak about football in general. Everyone is welcome. So grab yourself a drink, a snack, or whatnot, and yes, I'll be back very, very shortly. See you guys very soon. Hello, guys. Welcome back to the second half of Juventus versus Man City. It appears that Man City and I think Man and Juventus have made some changes to their lineup. So let's have a quick look. Oh, one of the players that has just been brought on is Haaland, and Haaland's almost gotten to the end of low cross there. So let's see who's actually come on. So we've got Mamush that has been taken off and has been replaced for Haaland, like for like, and almost made an instant impact. Oh, just miscued his connection there. Split second earlier, will hit the back of the net. And for Juventus, no changes there. I thought they may made a substitution, but it's not the case. So it's pretty much the same lineup, minus new striker, and then Haaland that is on the pitch now. Bit of a hold up play right now. What's going on? Oh, Doku trying the ball to Haaland. Haaland tried to lay off, didn't get that back heel right at all there. Ruben Diaz on the ball. Douglas Luiz are waiting to make his cameo against his former club. I thought he was being brought on, but maybe they delayed that decision because he was warming up on the pitch. Oh, good turn from Doku. Can he shoot? He can. Wow, way with effort there. He just went for power, no real accuracy or guidance in that shot there. Just lashed that. You got to be a bit more composed there. Nah, that's a way with effort. Obviously, that's the issue with Doku there. He's very talented as a dribbler in one-on-one situations, but when it comes to shooting or end product, he's not at the highest level there. So that's something he really needs to work on. If he gets that right, he could be a world beater type of player. But unfortunately doesn't have that consistency, and I think he has that calmness as well. When he's in that situation, I think it's just a rush of blood, or he's a bit more not chaotic in terms of his decision making, but he's just thinking, I just need to smash this ball and hopefully hit the back of the net. You've got to be a bit more measured, a bit more precise in how you're shooting. You've got to be technical. You can't just smash it thinking it's going to go in. So yeah, poor effort there from Doku, in my opinion. Oh, easy goal there for Man City. Look at that prick. Pep Linders on the bench. Honestly, shouldn't really care too much about a coach, joining another club. But the way he would speak, say, "Oh, I'd never coach um, any other manager other than Jurgen Klopp," and he's gone to one of our fiercest rivals, especially in recent history. So yeah, no good luck. If you own one of his books, then you better make sure you rip it up. Nah, he's onside. Good play there. Mateus Nunes flourishing in this unorthodox role for him, playing right back. It's pretty much two assists for him, isn't it? The own goal. I don't know if it's official, but it's his cross that led to that own goal. So he's got to take one and say, "Look, that's my assist there." So two assists so far in the game. So not a bad stat there for the Portuguese midfielder. Got a comment here from Ozzy. Kabak says, "Let City go deeper so that they start slow in the Premier League." Yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for them playing extra time and penalties as the tournament goes on, because that will, of course, only help us in our opening games. And look, I'm so pleased that Liverpool are in this tournament. Personally, I'm doing the watch challenge because, of course, it's football, and there's not much football on nowadays. So, this is the best we can get. And look, it's still, as a neutral, you still want to watch these kind of matches, isn't it? But from a Liverpool point of view, I don't feel like Liverpool are missing out in not participating in this tournament. There's no real value other than the winner claiming 100 million, which of course is the main incentive. And it's also good to see teams like Auckland City that aren't in like in a great financial position in terms of where they are in terms of the league, and just being able to participate in tournament. They've earned, I think, a couple million, so that would go a long way for a club like Auckland City. So it benefits those teams, and I think that's probably the positive of this whole tournament, where teams that are not, able to challenge the powerhouse of football, like your Man Cities and your Chelseas and all that sort of stuff, it's good for them. They will certainly reap the rewards of being involved in this tournament. But in terms of from a football point of view, I don't feel like we've missed out. it not being here. I feel like it would have hampered our start to the season because the players would have been overworked. They wouldn't have got the rest that they wanted. Most of the players right now are on holiday. I see Ibu Kanate. I think he's in Dubai right now. Taking videos and sharing on his Instagram stories. So, the players should be able to have some downtime after, a very tough season where we played a lot of games. And of course, they played to a very high level, very high intensity. So I'm pleased we're not in this tournament. I feel like we've definitely just been a tournament that, we're just there for the sake of it and not hold any sort of value at all. So yeah, with Man City being a part of this, they'll probably treat it as preseason, but I do feel like it will definitely have a bit of an impact in terms of the energy levels going into next season. And if it's not, right away in August, September, it will have its toll as the season goes on. So yeah, I'm all for it. And I hope they do get into extra time and penalty shootouts, once, we've gone further down the line in this tournament. So yeah, I'm all for it. I'll be all eyes in regards to seeing that. Juventus are making a few changes. I see Kefren Turan coming on, Kenan Yildiz as well. So two exciting players. Looking forward to seeing them play today. Yildiz scored a fantastic goal in the tournament, um, kind of inside and smashing it top in. So he's definitely one to watch, a very talented player. Maybe a player that we'd consider as a potential left wing option if Diaz was to leave. And as we speak, he's on the ball, he's driving the ball, he's number 10, Kefren Toram, good first touch, good touch from, oh, almost a good finish there from Yildiz. Slightly dragged it away from the target. But yeah, he's definitely the guy in this team, in my opinion. He's the one that makes things happen, creates something out of nothing. So very, very exciting player for Juventus. Who's underground? Is that Yildiz? Bloody hell. No, I don't think it is Yildiz. It's the centre back, I think. Savano. He looks to be in a lot of pain. Hopefully, it's just a little knock and he's able to continue. FIFA president enjoying himself alongside Arsene Wenger and Jokai. Excuse me. Oh yeah, it's just a two swanker. I don't think it was Haaland's fault because obviously they were both trying to get the ball, but yeah, that felt like a sore one. To be fair, Ozan come back with another comment says Arsenal need a striker, but keep signing midfielders and centre backs. I saw the centre back link today is with Mosquera, so very highly rated centre back for Valencia. I even tweeted about it earlier on. So I'm thinking they love a centre back, don't they? Like it's just getting beyond out of control now. And in terms of the midfielders they've gotten, and I'm not just saying it because we never got the player last year, but Zubimendi, I've not been convinced with him. I watched him last season, and I'm not saying thank God we didn't get him, but I don't think he would have been as impactful as we probably would have thought he would be if he had joined Liverpool. So in terms of him being an Arsenal signing, they're definitely going to miss something at midfield because Partey and Jorginho are going to leave right now. So Zubimendi alongside Declan Rice in that midfield, yeah, it could work. I don't think it's the perfect balance. Of course, Zubimendi will be the deep sort of playmaker or the player that protects the back four, and then you see Declan Rice a bit more box to box. But I feel like that was Declan Rice's role anyway. So I feel like they're quite similar in terms of how they play. I think Declan Rice has a bit more about him in terms of height and more stronger from a physical point of view. Whereas I think Zubimendi is a bit more of a technician in comparison. But let's see if he has. I don't think that's the perfect balance. I think alongside Declan Rice, it depends how the club or the coach views him. Does he view him as a number six or is he a box to box? Personally, I would say Declan Rice is a number six. That's how I would play him in the team. And then you have a box to box or midfielder. But if they play a double pivot, then it could work where they have both Declan Rice and Zubimendi alongside each other. Then they've got Norgard from Brentford. Decent player. I don't think he's a player that will give you nightmares or shivering in the boots or anything like that. Solid player. I think he's in his close to being 30 years of age, so not no spring chicken or anything to that nature. But I don't know. He probably brings experience to the squad. In terms of his playing ability, solid player, not a technician or anything like that, but decent pass of the ball, gets on the end of headers from set pieces, all that sort of stuff. So I guess in that sense, he's probably a match made in heaven for Arsenal because the level of crosses and set pieces that they were working on last season, maybe he is the profile that they wanted. So yeah, interesting signing. But yeah, you're right, Ozan Kabak. Their sole target should be a striker, but for some reason they're not pursuing one. Now we're always hearing different rumors. Sesko was one that I thought was going to be the guy that joins Arsenal. Then you had Gyökeres as well. That's the one that I feel like everyone thinks he's favourites to join Arsenal. But of course, Liverpool's name have been in the mix once again, which we'll talk about later on today on the transfer talk show. But yeah, I don't know. Arsenal just doing Arsenal things. Last year they were doing the same thing, signing Fury and all those players, but not really addressing the problem, the area that needs to be fixed, and that is signing a top striker. So let's see what they do. If they go, in this window and not sign a striker again, yeah, God knows what they're thinking because that's not going to work. So if they want to stick with Havertz, then hey, as a local fan, I'm all for it. Go ahead and do your thing, but from a neutral outside point of view, they definitely need to address that area. And it doesn't need to be, an expensive striker. Just, you're not spending money just for the sake of it. It needs to be someone that's, likes to play a bit more central, is a finisher, likes to attack that 6 yard box. That's the kind of striker they need. So, but yeah, it looks like they're on to signing another centre back who is a very good player, by the way. But where does he fit? He's not going to surpass Gabriel or Saliba when they're fully fit. So, yeah, you can't make this stuff up, to be honest with you. But let's see what Arsenal do in terms of the transfer dealings this summer. Looks like Phil Foden is going to get some game time as well as Gundogan. So Rodri is coming off. Man City fans will be super pleased to see Rodri on the pitch again. solely missed last season, of course. And then Doku is being taken off and is being replaced by Phil Foden. Really interesting to see if Phil Foden plays on the left or on the right because you still have Savini on the pitch, so maybe he shifts over to the left and Foden plays on the right. That's normally what Man City do, especially last season. So yeah, that's what it looks like. Foden's on that right hand side. I think that's Savini on the left. Bernardo trying to produce a cutback pass towards Foden, unable to claim the ball. Kostic hits it onto Bernardo Silva. Goal kick for Juventus. 66 minutes played. Juventus 1, Man City 3. Juventus on attack. Uses fantastic through ball to Vlahovic. Oh, come on, Vlahovic. What was that? That was an awful attempt, honestly. Should just dinked it over the keeper with a proper shot. He tried to dink it delicately over the keeper and then maybe tap it in with an open goal. That was awful. Got to be so much precise in those moments. That was a beautiful threaded through ball by Kylian Yildiz there. Just needed to hit that first time shot over the keeper. But no, he just tried to be extra clever there. Just didn't work out. Poor attempt. Could have got the second goal and the pressure would have been on Man City and the momentum may have shifted towards Juventus there. So missed opportunity. Let's have a look at the replay. Yildiz. Look at that. Fantastic way of free ball. Just think over now. I think he tried to go around the keeper by dinking it on that side. Come on, that's a poor effort. That's a striker that has no confidence whatsoever. Or maybe it isn't the caliber that we probably originally thought during his Fiorentina days. So yeah, poor attempt there. Haaland, good control. Can he shoot? Dinks it towards Foden, and Foden scores an open goal. Savinho with the tap-in assist there. And that's what happens when you miss that kind of opportunity. The other team responds and shows you how it's done. 4-1 to Man City. Light work for the City Blue. Great ball from Ellison to Haaland. Haaland does really well to control it. I thought he was going to shoot from there. Overplayed it to Foden. Savinho cuts inside and gifts it to Foden, who, yeah, who's not going to score an easier goal in his career. Got a comment here from Ozan Kabak says Juve are mudded, Bundem match fix draws. I'm not gonna lie, they had so many chances to, get something or at least challenge the team or challenge the scoreline a bit. Yeah, very, very disappointed at how they're playing right now. And the goals have been poor, the own goal as well, and conceding this goal. Yeah, not impressed with Juventus today, to be fair. Because there are some talented players on the pitch, but they haven't delivered one bit. See a few fans there holding the Uzbekistan flag, I think that was for Kusanov. Looks like Turkey is about to make a cameo alongside O'Reilly. Oh, one of the shot blocked there. Decent effort there. Haaland definitely wants to get onto the score sheet, of course. Aït being replaced by O'Reilly. And Turkey is coming on to replace Bernardo Silva. Oh, good shot there. Great save by the keeper. Oh, what a goal. What a goal by Savinho. Wow, what a finish. And that was with his weak foot as well. What a finish. Crossbar and in. What a strike. Let's have a look at the replay. Got right foot, weak foot. Okay, no chance for the goalkeeper at all. And he's produced some decent saves as well. The first time shot, no control. What a finish. On his weaker foot, crossbar and in. 5-1 to Man City. Ozan come out with a comment. He said, all right, LAFC are higher than Juve. At this day, you might not be wrong, Ozan come back. Honestly, they're just giving up now. They just literally aren't trying at all. And yes, you've got, great quality in front of you in terms of Man City, but you're Juventus, you're not some little team here. You can definitely try and compete. So make a game out of it, make it more competitive. But no, they've accepted defeat and they aren't even trying right now, which is very annoying. But it is what it is, I guess. Mm. I was gonna come out with the comment. Just look at Pep Lin as that fraud. I voiced this earlier on. Yeah, I don't know what word I used to describe him, but yeah, I think I'll call him a prick, which probably shouldn't be swearing on the show, but yeah, he's an actual fraud. Honestly, for him to be like, "Oh, I'm never going to be a number two other than Jurgen Klopp," and goes to Pep, our rivals in the last few years. Come on now, fraudulent behavior right there, and it's quite clear he's not good enough to be a number one coach anywhere. He had a chance in the Netherlands. He went over to Austria and should have done decently well there, but that wasn't the case. Yeah, he's pretty much accepted the easier route, I guess, to be number two for Pep Guardiola. Which that still doesn't even like make sense to me as to why that appointment was made. But you know, hopefully he releases the book in due course as well. Because the timing of that release was just outrageous. It was like mid-season, and so like, what are you doing? Why are you even releasing a book? Who are you to even release a book? So I still remember that viral video where he went all over the training ground handing out free books to the players. Players were thinking, what are you doing? Like they don't look, impressed like or excited to read that, but I'm sure they dashed it in the bin at some point. So yeah, annoying. Cherky on the ball. Good cross from Cherky. Very, very good cross. Unlucky from Holland. 10 minutes remaining plus stoppage time, which I'm sure Juventus will not want to see any further than that. But the scoreline is Juventus 1, Man City 5. Juventus is making another change with McKennie coming off, and Adzich is coming on to replace him. Fair play to Juventus fans. Still very well vocal and chanting that for their team, but yeah, they've let them down, to be honest with you. Turkey, nice pass to Haaland. Good touch from Haaland. Unable to find the shot though. Kevin Turam, poor first touch. Yildiz does well to help his teammate out, keep it in play. Despite this huge defeat, Juventus actually go through to the next round. So we Man City at the top, Juventus second. Keep miners. Good. Vlahovic free on goal. Thank God he knows how to finish. Why didn't he do that earlier on? Good finish there, but come on. Still not like the first miss he did earlier on. Kenan Yildiz, fantastic play. Look at that. Lovely free ball. He's onside. He's definitely on. Good first touch. And even on his weaker foot, he finished. So, earlier on, he was through on goal, left footed shot, just had to dink it over the keeper. Why have you scored on your weaker foot, but you couldn't do it with your left foot earlier on? Beyond me. But good finish there. Maybe too little, too late. But gives the fans something to cheer about, even if it's a consolation goal. It's a bit of pride for them. Are they having a look at the offside line? It's not offside. He was clearly onside, so it should be. So it should count more or less. Yeah. Play continues. Juventus 2, Man City 5. Koopmeiners scoring the first goal for Juventus and Vlahovic scoring the second. Cherky on the ball. A nice piece of skill there. The fans certainly enjoyed that one. Taste Nunes. Come on. I think Yildiz was just strong in that challenge there. Cheeky nutmeg. Nice piece of skill there from Cherky. Because I can't even hate the player. I like Cherky, so I'm just a little bit disappointed that he's ended up in Man City because, in a crazy world, he actually could have still been a Liverpool player alongside Verts. I think it could have worked, but it wasn't to be. So now we have to kind of admire him from afar, but of course not wishing too much success because it only affects the success of our team, which is Liverpool. So, but yeah, for now we can enjoy him because this is pre-season vibes in my eyes. So checking the ball again. Looks like pretty much got three rows on the left side, right side, center, just roaming around wherever he wants. O'Reilly, good turn of speed there. Gundogan, back to O'Reilly. Cherky, good touch there. Loses the ball. Turan with the awful pass there. Unfortunately, overplayed a little bit. Foden to Haaland. Haaland shoot? No, you can't. Good defending there. Cherky. Nice pass to Haaland. Foden. Mexican wave in the crowd. Certainly not a sellout crowd. There's a lot of seats available there. Surprising because they were selling it for about $4 each, so still couldn't get a full crowd. Reminders to excuse me, to Mateus Nunes. See, even I'm getting bored there. Kanji to O'Reilly. Good touch there. Oof. The Mexican way still hasn't stopped. Kalulu makes a clearance there for a Man City throw-in. The Mexican wave is in full flow, honestly. Quite hilarious. You don't see Mexican waves in Liverpool games, that's for sure. Foden trying to drive with the ball, but blocked by Locatelli. Kostic to Vlahovic, holds it. Oh, tries to get past Ruben Diaz. Not sure what Ruben Diaz was complaining about. I feel like this is the noisiest the crowd has been all game. And it's whilst they're doing a Mexican wave, so you can't make this stuff out, honestly. Chucky. Oh, that's a foul. It's another foul there. Come on. Pushed him to the ground. What's going on? Literally two hands. Pushed the guy to the ground. No free kick. Wait, play on. I was gonna come out the comment says, 1 second. These City fans are doing the Mexican way because they know it's not possible at the empty hard. It really isn't. You need people to do that, isn't it? So we just one odd person just doing that in the crowd. So yeah, might as well enjoy it and enjoy the festivities whilst they're abroad in the States right now. We've got 3 minutes of stoppage time. Oh my God. Another wayward pass. Turkey. Ah, I should have buried it. Complacent with that shot there. Yildiz trying to muscle two players there. Yeah, Turkey should have finished that. Definitely onside. Come on, miles onside. Don't even know why they're showing replays. Turkey on the ball. City just playing sideways passes now. The referee puts the misery out of the situation for Juventus, and that is the final score. Juventus 2, Man City 5. Pretty much one-way traffic. And I know Juventus scored a couple of goals, but it could have been a lot more from City's point of view. But both teams progress to the round of 16, so it'll be interesting to see who they face. But that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. A few shout outs. Shout out to Graham. Shout out to Hooks Law. Shout out to Uncle Rod's TV. Shout out to Spirit of LSC fans. Shout out to Ozwrld Kabak. And shout out to AR for your comments. Appreciate your engagement as always, guys. In terms of upcoming content, I will be doing a show in about an hour's time at 11 p.m. UK time. we'll be doing a Liverpool transfer talk show. So we're discussing all the breaking news slash rumors surrounding players at Liverpool, but also players possibly joining the Reds as well. So please make sure to tune in for that 11 p.m. UK time. So in about 1 hour's time. So yeah, feel free to get involved, and yeah, feel free to you know send as many comments as you like in the live chat, whether it's local related or if it's transfer related. We're all here to have a nice football chat. So yeah, feel free to join in later on. I was come out saying big up. See you soon. Big up yourself. I was come out. I'll see you very shortly as well. So that is it for today, guys. Take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you guys at 11 p.m. Goodbye.